On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
OMG, yes.
It's an absolute riot.
Woo!
And the only movie that can be described as
so much weirder than the last time. What last time?
It's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out-of-touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
This episode is brought to you by the world's first reposado from Tequila Herradura. Made with slow-cooked, hand-harvested agave sealed into oak barrels and aged 11 months. Before being enjoyed in your glass. Experience the world's first reposado. Tequila Herradura. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Tequila Herradura. 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky. Herradura is a registered trademark. Copyright 2025 Brown-Forman Corporation.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
3, 2, 1. Hello, Murder Chronicles Nation. Welcome back to another bonus episode. My name is Brandon. I produce the show. For the always wonderful, always lovely Carolyn Osorio, we do not deserve her talent, but yet she allows us to experience it anyway. Hello, Carolyn. Nice to see you again.
Ladies, you have a Brandon in your life.
Only the lucky ones. Only
you know
the lucky
what?
ones.
And they know exactly what you do every single time.
Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is.
Exactly. You're telling it like it is.
Tell it like it is.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Yeah, good week. Early in the week. Last week was, I'm still working out some stuff in my professional life, but we're arriving at the end, I hope. So that will at least free me up emotionally out of this quagmire that I've been in for 4 or 5 months. But hey, listen, I got no complaints. Wife and kids are happy and healthy, and there's a roof over our head and food on the table, and we live in California, so it's got no complaints. So,
well, you know what? That's a great place to start.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I don't have that of anything. And my cholesterol came back. Awesome. So the new meds are working, which is great. Did I tell you about that? So the last
time we talked about your medical stuff was that you were waiting for your test to come back, and then you were going to decide if you were still going to eat the hoagies.
Okay, well, here's what happened. It was weird because despite my sometimes Billy Goat diet, I'm a relatively healthy guy. I exercise like crazy. I'm a runner. I lift weights, like I do stuff. But I also eat like a douchebag sometimes. Okay, but it tastes good. So
and you know what? That makes it so we can be friends. Because if you didn't, I mean, I would just be like, get out of here.
So I go for my yearly physical, and I turned 50 this year. Okay. So my doctor's like, hey, we're going to do some additionals. We're going to do like a stress test. He goes, I know you stay in shape, but we're going to do stuff anyway. Right. And they did a heart CT scan and a carotid artery arterial ultrasound, like really checking out.
Nervous just listening.
Right. Checking out all my stuff. And I'm like, nothing's ever come up on any test I've ever had. My blood pressure is always like, I'm almost dead. Like the guy's like, wow, you have great blood pressure, like everything. And so,
this is like a humble brag at 50.
No, but I'm proud. It's not a humble brag. It's a brag. Like I'm proud as fuck about it. Okay. But then I'm going in, and I talked to my mom the day before, and she goes, remember to tell your doctor that your grandfather had triple bypass when he was 65 years old. I went, oh, okay. She was and he was a really healthy guy. It was that he had a genetic thing that they found really, really late. I went, oh shit, okay, cool. So I tell my doctor that. So I get the test, come back. Blood works great, everything's great. But the CT scan found early heart disease with like arterial, like low-level arterial blockage. He goes, wouldn't have even looked if you hadn't told me that about the family history. He goes, but we know it now. So I'm going to get you on this cholesterol med that will bottom out your cholesterol and that will take care of this. And so it'll be like it never happened within 6 months. If we didn't know it, you'd be getting triple bypass in 15 years, like your grandfather did. I go, holy shit, fucking technology. Am I right?
Well,
So
no, I'm sorry. Fucking mom.
Mom, yes.
Did you call mommy and tell her thank you?
Yeah, she started crying and
Oh.
apologizing for giving me a bad heart. And I went, it's obviously your fault. So go ahead and cry, woman. Cry. Your tears sustain me. No.
God.
But no, but seriously, it was interesting. And yeah, it was a little weird, a little hearing that, you know. But knowing that the technology is there to see it and that the pharmaceutical technology is at a place where I take a small orange pill once a day and I've got the cholesterol of a 6-year-old, you know, so it's great, you know. So
good for you, as you say. Good for you. Good for you.
Hey, good for you. Oh. And then my brother goes through all the same battery of tests and he's fine. Asshole that he is. Nothing wrong with his heart. Yeah. Great. And he's competitive about it because we compete over everything. And he goes, my heart's great. Oh, take it easy there, big guy. You know, you got a bad ticker. I'm like, he's a dickhead.
Oh my gosh.
That's how brothers are, though. So it's all good.
Sibling rivalry.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So let's talk about hiding in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this one.
Mm-hmm.
You know why I don't like this one?
Because you're a father?
Because they lost 2 kids.
Yeah.
She lived for, 20 years with 2 unsolved mysteries, all unsolved murders of her children.
Yeah.
How do you fucking breathe?
I don't know. I mean,
a hunting accident where one of her sons is just dead in the forest and nobody knows and never will. Right?
Yeah.
And then her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it was, I mean, you know, and you set it up so it's going to sound weird, but you set it up so nicely, right? Like home from Thanksgiving. We've all been there. Come home from Thanksgiving, you're visiting, all your friends are in the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Everyone goes out and gets fucked up and it's great. Woo! And then you're home and you eat and you feel all fat. You're like, oh, I got to go and do something with my life. And you go on a jog and then fucking you never come home.
Mm-hmm.
That was tough because I'm a runner. You're a runner, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you run on any weird back roads?
What?
Do you run on any weird back roads up there?
Yeah, I mean, I run on these back trails and I am always, it's not a normal experience for me anymore, but you know, it used to be, and it's like, I really enjoy it. And I think to myself, okay, you know, I'm so comfortable in my routine. I don't even want to speak this because it's like, I don't want to put that energy out there, but you know, I'm on a schedule. You know what I'm saying? I just don't even want to talk about it. It's just scary, you know?
Yeah. Well, so, okay. So it's at 1989.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was 18 or 19. She was a freshman in college.
She was 18.
18.
Mm-hmm.
College freshman. Avid runner.
Yep.
And I'm starting to finally, after 30 something episodes, to kind of pick up little breadcrumbs in your writing style. Okay. I knew when you specifically mentioned the boys that they were going to go meet, that there was going to be some kind of callback later on. So I clocked those names. I'm like, okay, And then I still forgot. Because I'm an asshole. I still forgot later.
Well, no, because I would hope that you would forget because it's so emotional. That river scene with Ron. I know.
Oh,
I know.
For a minute, and not to the point where I want you to change anything in the episode, but for a minute, I thought it was actually his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you ever watch NYPD Blue?
Not that I could actually remember.
Right. So Andy Sipowicz, one of the great TV characters of all time. He's so layered and so troubled, an alcoholic and a good cop and maybe a racist and a terrible husband and absentee father and like all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So when Jimmy Smits took over, when the first guy left, so Jimmy Smits was his partner, they introduced Andy Sipowitz's estranged son, who's played by one of the DeLuise boys, an actor, okay? Really good actor. I think Peter DeLuise maybe, or Michael DeLuise. And Michael was like, a 21, 22-year-old kid reconnecting with his dad, right? And wanted to be a cop, okay? Mm-hmm. And his dad's like, oh, man, I can connect with my son. He's going to go on ride-alongs with me, like all this. And over like 3 episodes, you see them really bonding over, he's apologizing for stuff when he was a kid and helping him, teach him how to be a cop, right? And then there's this one episode, like every other episode, Sipowicz and his partner, Jimmy Smits, they're responding to a homicide, right? And they have to go and examine the body in the morgue. Okay. And the way that they do it is one cop goes to the body, that was Jimmy Smits. The other cop goes to the table that has all the personal effects to look for evidence. Okay. And the camera stays on Jimmy Smits in the foreground when he pulls the sheet back and you see his face just drop. And over his shoulder, you see Sipowicz going through the stuff. And he goes, wait a minute. This is Andy Jr. stuff. What the hell's going on here? Like he laughs about it because he doesn't know. And then Smits just turns around. Smits turns around and he goes, partner, I'm so sorry.
You're gonna make me cry. And this is fiction.
And it was his kid, and it was such a crazy scene. And that's what the scene in the river reminded me of. Like for a second, I was like, this isn't really his fucking daughter. I mean, this is,
Well, when I was interviewing him, he was writing
I heard it in his voice.
Right. It was like it was his daughter. It was his daughter, and it was my daughter, and it was your daughter. You know what I mean? Like that is so visceral.
And it's because of that commitment. It was because of that emotional connection that he had that he was able, despite whatever pain or heartbreak he was feeling, that he had to do his fucking job the right way to preserve the evidence.
Yeah. And here's the thing, it's funny because as I was putting it together, I was thinking, I know people are going to be, not probably the people who are listening to the podcast, but people who would be like, oh, she's just totally fangirling over detectives and just, she's, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there are detectives that are like this, that are so dedicated to their protect and serve. This is what they live for. This is what their calling is. And this is what they do. And they're able to compartmentalize all of this and focus on their training and focus on, doing the things that we wouldn't be able to do. I wouldn't be able to do this. I know you wouldn't be able to do it. So I think that, I really wanted to give it to him because I believe it was true and real and genuine. And I also think that, that care that he gave is what ultimately led to solving the crime so many years later. Because if he would have just been like, okay, he had to get in there next to her like that. Like that is,
and his passion became contagious, where it affected subsequent kind of generations of detective that came through there, keeping the picture on the desk and all that. Yeah, it was really, really important. But so how difficult policing was back then, right? No leads, no nothing. What do you do? What do you do? The last person that saw her.
Well, the first thing that they do is look for all the drifters, right? It's like,
I know, God, and you put a little butter on that. They asked a drifter, right? Like the drifters are these pieces of shit. this drifter came by and I bet he fucking did it. No.
Because that's what I think.
Why do you hate drifters?
Okay. Hold on a second. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Because okay. Thank you. Because wait a second. What were we saying? I'm sorry. So
I'm saying that you hate drifters. You have your prejudice against drifters.
No, I don't. The reason why I said it like that is because everybody knows if there was a drifter in that town, they would have been strung up and like it would have been over. It would have been over because they didn't want to believe that it could be anybody else in that town. I mean, you know what that...
You need to be nicer to drifters. What did they ever do to you? Nothing.
I was giving the drifter in the way that I think that they saw drifters back then. And then
you were in character. Okay. Sorry. Forgive me. All right. My bad.
You've already told me that you love my character.
Yeah, I didn't know. You really got into character
I'm just
this time.
giving my audience what they love. I'm just
fine. Okay, yeah, my bad. I forgot you were a professional. You were in character with the venom you put on the word drifter. Jesus Christ. Okay. So it wasn't the drifter. Okay.
No,
it wasn't the drifter.
It wasn't the drifter.
Hopefully,
the drifter was cleared.
They let the guy go without roughing him up too much. And so they go about their investigation, and they despite all of their best efforts, there's no leads, there's no nothing. And so the case goes cold for a really, really long time. And it took just some gossiping women who finally felt that they were removed enough from it.
Okay, well, first of all, wait a second. It wasn't gossiping women. It was women. I love how you take like a really poignant moment and then just try to make it like it's a sewing circle.
Yeah, it was. It was like a tea party or something, right?
No, it wasn't. It was not that. It was like, oh my gosh, haven't you ever like look at you laughing? You're just
laughing.
You go eat a piece of licorice.
So the sewing circle, they were talking about boys, okay, and and one of them, no, listen, but it seemed to me like, yes, gossiping women, that was elicited to get a response. That was there to elicit a response from you. Yes, but neither of these women were comfortable saying this out loud until this moment. Okay, when they were surrounded by their friends and the security of a friend group.
That's the thing about things like this, and I've experienced this myself, and I've heard about this. It's like I just feel like it was the time and it was the place, and for whatever reason, after all these years, where it was just like everything was in alignment, where they felt comfortable to share this.
Well, it started with one. Started with one woman.
Well, I could picture it happening where they're like, they start talking about the Mandy Savick case.
Sure.
And because it's so ingrained, it's so ingrained in this culture here. And they're just talking about it. And then all of a sudden they're like, I know who did it. And then the other woman's like, I know who did it.
No shit, so do I. Let's see if it's the same dude.
Right, exactly. And it was. And then suddenly it just opened it up where it was like, wow. Tell me your experience. You tell me your experience. So I just feel like it elevates it to way more than just women gossiping. You know what I mean?
We'll be back after a quick break.
It's Wednesday Addams. I see you're trying to distract yourself from your own banal thoughts. Let me help. Here's a recording thing made of my latest root canal.
Wednesday, Season 2, begins August 6th, only on Netflix.
Hey, it's Sydney Sweeney. I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbury jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
Yeah, but it led to my favorite and least favorite moment of the show, which is the same moment when the detective says that he trusts women's sixth sense.
I love that.
I love it, but I hate it. I don't know if I want detectives out there, making decisions based on a woman's intuition. I don't know.
After all 30 plus whatever episodes, are you kidding me? You really don't.
Because some women that I've pissed off have told some lies about me in the past. Okay, and so I'm just to extrapolate into I'll never be in a situation as dire as this. However, a woman scorned. If you find the right detective who trusts a woman's intuition, could really fuck up a man's life, right?
Well, considering how fucked up women's lives have been because of men, I mean, I'm sorry, but I can't even go here with you because I think that women have gone in and have said this happened, or they've done how many unprocessed rape kits that are out there, how many women have been like, they don't even want to pursue it because of the way they've been treated when they go in for an interview to talk about what happened. I mean, I just listened to a case where it's like this woman is being interrogated and she's the victim.
Yeah.
So it's like, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
granted, women have gotten the shit end of the stick when it comes to most things with being believed, being discredited, not, you had what was coming to you. Look what you were wearing. You were asking for all of that bullshit.
What I peel out, and I think we both will agree on this, absolutely, is that it isn't this thing where it's the creepiness that women can sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my daughter and I, we were just going to this exercise thing, and there was this guy there, and it was weird because we had our family with us, our older family members with us. And we were talking about the different people that were in this kind of like a CrossFit thing, but it wasn't like that. And my daughter and I were both like, I was like, that guy was creepy. And she's like, yes, he was really creepy. Okay. And it was just like her and I he didn't do anything specific. It was just the way that he was like, just the vibes that he was putting out. Yeah. And this guy could be perfectly fine. And so that's why, you don't go and talk to people and say, yeah, that guy's creepy, because you don't really know. But just that feeling that, and I'm sure like with your wife, she said, yeah, that guy was really creepy. That's the kind of thing. Not where,
well, maybe I'll reverse course here a little bit, because, talking to some other like survival experts and stuff that I know, right? Like one thing that you hear over and over again, if something feels wrong, it's wrong. Get out of there. Just trust it.
Exactly.
Trust
it. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is not the thing where it's like somebody could make up stuff about people, and we know that happens.
Yeah.
We also know that, women have they haven't come forward because they don't want that baggage of not being believed or being like, what was she wearing and all that bullshit. But this thing about the creepiness and knowing like, I'm going to stay away from this guy because he's creepy, and you follow that instinct and that intuition, if you can.
Sold. So, okay. All right.
But I loved it that he said that. I loved it that he said that.
I loved that it's in the episode also. It made me think a lot, obviously, and it made me question some police tactics, but I get it. I totally get it. Okay. So the case goes cold. And then, this little gossip sewing circle where these women are, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. When I was, wait a minute.
I'm just way too easy.
Wait, when our kids, because, my family and my wife's sister's family, we're all growing up together. We have kids the same age. And he's a comedy writer, my brother-in-law. And so when our kids were like 2 or 3, our oldest daughters, it was like, What does the dog say? Woof, woof, right? What does the cat say? Meow. What does the chicken say? Bark, bark, whatever, right? And so we're doing that. And her name is Sydney. So we're just sitting around one day in the kitchen and he goes, Sydney, what does a dog say? Bark, bark. What does a cat say? Meow. What does mommy say? Meh, meh, meh.
What?
It was.
Am I the man?
No, it was pulled off so perfectly. Sydney knew it was a joke, right? And Carrie, the mom, knew it was a joke. But for a 3-year-old to have that kind of comedic timing and to understand that, we're breaking your mom's balls, it was really, really funny. But so these two women, they're on the same page about the creepiness of this one guy to the point where it's worth it for the detectives. Okay, now. Another part of this that I was questioning, the book that you talked about the case in the UK, right? Yeah. Where they just went and got fucking DNA samples from everybody.
Well, they asked them.
Right?
Yes.
Right. So how do you think people would feel if they said no? What if you legitimately are like, you know what? No, on reasons where I'm a free person and I don't know what the equivalent of the Fourth Amendment is in the UK, but I have a right to be secure in my person and in my papers and my documents and my property and all that. And no, and it shouldn't color my participation in any way. I shouldn't be looked at. Oh, you have something to hide because you.
I know, but you're skeptical enough in the world where that it's like flag the file.
Right, but isn't that the kind of the beginning? Like if and again, I'm just speaking from the opposition here, right?
Because see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
You're going to think that I'm the type of person that I've already done my 23andMe and all of that. I totally do not
Me either.
subscribe to that at all.
Me either. But if someone knocks on your door, and says, "Hey, there's a brutal crime that happened, and we want to rule out every man over between 40 and 70 in this neighborhood," and your husband's like, "I'm not fucking doing that," would you support him or would you tell him to do it and clear yourself?
It really would depend on the situation, but yeah. I definitely would. I wouldn't just volunteer my DNA just to do it, because I think that in the future, and I'm going to have my tin hat on right now, but I just think that, he didn't have to give it. And if he was innocent, then it wouldn't have been a problem. Right. But clearly when he's picking up all of his garbage and.
Oh, no, I get it. In this case, listen, and in the grand scheme of things, we're a safer, more just society because of CODIS. I believe that. But where I get a little, I don't know, is you should be willing to give up your DNA to rule you out, and if you don't, we're going to remember you. I find
that terrifying too.
Yeah, it's a bridge too far for me.
Given the situation, and I think that it is a tool, and I think that the way that he was acting was really weird, and so
right, it's a unique situation because they didn't give a shit about anybody else's. They wanted his, and they were using everybody else as a ruse. They weren't even
100% convinced that it was him. They wanted to do, it was like time again with this case, it was timing. They wanted to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And he had no criminal history. So it wasn't like they went about doing this collection as a ruse for him. That's not how it was. They were like, hey, why don't we do this? This is how desperate we are to solve this. Let's go back and let's see who will give us their DNA.
But they already had the knitting circle comments, right?
They did, but it was all around that same time period where they were fresh eyes. He'd read the true crime book. Then this is but I think that they'd heard so many things about, it's a small town. I'm sure they'd heard people talking about the other people, and it's rumor and gossip, and they have to weed that out. And they weren't just, okay, he did it. These two women who said this.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was just a bunch of stuff kind of coming together where before he wasn't even in the frame. They didn't even know that he was, had these situations that were really uncomfortable and strange. And so they were going to look at him with fresh eyes, like they were looking at the entire case with fresh eyes.
So then we get into the citizen sleuth portion of the evening, which was great.
I love this part.
I fucking love it too. So she was bound by like her corporate masters, like we can't do anything. And she's like, all right, I can do shit. Right. Yeah. Like I can pick this up and put it in a bag and give it to somebody, you know?
And this is so ballsy of her, because I'm sure if she knows that corporate said, no, we don't want to do this, then, you know, she had to think to herself, well, you know, I could be fired for doing something like this. Like they would call it something else. Right. Yeah. So I just think that not only was she the type of person that, and she was like, she did it because of Mary. And there's these interviews with the mom are like, it's literally like take the knife and stab it in your heart when you listen to her, you know? Yeah. So I think that she's just, I would consider her a hero, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And so I have a lot of, not a lot of questions, but some it's confusing. And maybe because I'm just used to your like all of your like serial killer stuff that you give me, right? It's rare that here's a guy murdered one person and then didn't do anymore, and then had a seemingly normal life, married, 3 kids, regular job, right? Like how is that in terms of criminal psychology? How is that justified? Just a crime of passion, and he learned his lesson, or he felt guilty, or
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was scared straight, because remember he went to the other woman's house when she'd had that baby, and you know, it was a couple of years after, right? And he's showing up. And it sounds like he was absolutely horrible to his wife, who divorced him after this, you know, happened. Right. So I can't account for it. I don't have any, like, I talked to this expert and they said, I don't know.
But you know a lot about this this area. You've investigated hundreds of these cases. Like,
yeah.
Is this normal? You come across this a lot? Someone who's got one body on him and then just disappears for decades?
Well, I think that we don't know, because I think a lot of people get away with murder. I really do. Like, I think that he would have gotten away with murder if you know,
it's so many things.
So diligent.
If Don didn't give a shit in the river about collecting the body, if the women didn't come to that one moment where they both felt secure enough to say, "Oh my God, that guy's fucking weird," also. The woman at the bakery had some sense of justice that was driving her to get this guy off the street. Like, so many things had to fall into place to catch this guy. And then what a piece of shit when he's on the stand.
I know, right? I had to throw that in because I'm like, I'm sure everybody.
Let's say dad did it. Right? Let's blame our dead father for murder.
I know. And it would have had to been some weird, funky thing, because like all they'd have to do is do a test, a sperm test, and realize it wasn't the dad's. It wasn't the dad's semen. It would have been his. So it's like, what? He was going to come up with this whole, like, what kind of ruse was he going to come up with? Like, well, yeah, my dad didn't want me to date this beautiful young girl who had everything. So he killed her after he caught us having consensual sex.
Yeah,
in the barn,
totally consensual, and it happened. You know, it happened a few times, like before college, like during, like he was trying to make it seem like, yeah,
I
you know.
wish everybody could have just seen your facial expression when you said.
Well, that. I mean, this guy, it's like he goes from saying no, I had nothing to do with it, and then, well, your DNA was found inside her. All right, listen. Between us guys, I used to bang her. Okay, so keep it between us. You know what I mean? I'm married. Like, you know, like. Was that kind of the thing? And then like, well, but why is she dead? My dad did it. And I'm like, who's going to buy this shit from this fucking asshole? But here's a question, a serious question. And again, I don't plan on ever being living in this scenario, but like blood family members testified against him in court.
Yeah.
Like, can you envision a scenario where you would do that?
That wife couldn't wait. The ex-wife couldn't.
But his brother. His
I know
brother
his brother, but also the ex-wife, but he'd have been abusing her, allegedly
Right.
abusing
Okay.
her, according to her,
Try and keep her off the stand. I get it. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
for years. And I think that he was taking out all of his anger and aggression on her, it sounds like.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, his brother, I mean, you could tell that it was so painful for him, you know? Like, I mean, that's how I heard it. Like,
Oh,
you know,
of course.
why am I having to, he didn't believe that there was any way that his brother was going to be with Mandy Stavik. I mean, he was like, you know, it's not happening, you know?
Yeah. I find that strange, probably because I don't know. I can't envision a scenario where I would testify against my brother. I don't know. But again, I've never been in a situation like this. I'm sure if I was faced with this set of evidence and here's a young girl brutally murdered in the prime of her life, I might change my tune, you know, because then that would mean that I don't really know my brother. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm looking at it through the lens of, you know, my brother's fucking my best friend and he's awesome and great. So I couldn't imagine doing it, but different scenario. I'm a little myopic when it comes to these things, I guess. But so then, you know, he denied it on the stand, right? He said, no. But the judge wasn't buying it. The judge didn't give a fuck. Right?
Well, he didn't testify on his own behalf, I don't think. That was after the sentence, after the jury had found him guilty, and then he gets to say something. They're like, well, do you want to say something?
Oh, got it. Okay.
And then he's like, well,
I am one innocent of this crime, and I'm not. Okay, buddy.
Right. Save it. Yeah.
So, so the Don, the detective, obviously felt some level of peace when they got the guy. And how long had he been retired?
You know, I don't remember quite, maybe, I mean, this is just off the top. I think like maybe like 5 or 10 years or something. But even the prosecutor who had retired, who'd been a prosecutor in that same area for like 40 years, he came out of retirement and didn't even want to be paid and prosecuted that case.
Wow.
And that's, you know, and so it was like,
wow,
you know, the community really like, okay, we know we have it, you know, so it was really powerful, you know.
Woof. Well, I hate hearing that, but I like that it was resolved and that the bad guy went away. But that poor family, 2 kids. I mean, it just just an open fucking festering wound for decades. You know, I can't even imagine that. But all right. Well, listen, well told as always. Well done. Thank you. What do you got coming up? Okay.
We'll have to get back to it.
So you're going to keep us guessing until next week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Terrific. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Murder Chronicles Nation. As always, we implore you to consider patronizing the wonderful companies that support our show. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And if you have a second, head on over to Apple Podcast and give us a rate and review. It helps more than you know. Carolyn, again, excellent work. Anything you'd like to add?
Just thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, and until then, everybody stay safe out there.
And I don't have anything against drifters. I just have to set the record straight before we go.
Listen, she's holding up a sign behind her that says, I'm lying. Drifters are scum. I'm reading it word for word. I hate drifters.
No, it says Branden. Branden is no. That's my sign. I have it tattooed on my forehead.
Remember, people, if something feels wrong, something is wrong, and get out of there. That should be our new tagline.
I love that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
well,
great.
Listen, we hope to catch up with you next week, everybody. Until then, stay safe.
The Murder Chronicles is a pie-in-the-sky production recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We are produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For Pie in the Sky Media, I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host. Thanks for listening.